everyone, I'm Crystal and welcome to my Sew Leisure Sewing channel. So you're interested in sewing and now you need a list of supplies that'll get you started. Well, whether you're taking up sewing as a hobby or you're considering a career as a designer, I have a list of tools to share with you that have you sewing like the pros. Plus, I have a few extra tools that are new that I want to share with you that I didn't have when I was starting off that'll help your sewing and construction be easier and faster. But first, I have a question for you. What tool do I hate to use, but am glad, oh so glad that I always have it to use? Chances are you'll feel the same way. So keep watching to find out. Okay, as you can see, I have laid out my cutting tools, and right here I have my rotary cutter. It has a sharp blade. Now, I wouldn't recommend this for a young or a beginner sewer, but definitely a great option for someone more advanced. It's a quicker way of cutting, especially when it comes to straight panels. Okay, so here I have my fabric shears. Now, my fabric shears are to be used for fabric alone and not paper or anything else really. Paper over time will dull out your scissors. For definitely use your fabric shears for fabric only. Here I have my paper shears. These are specifically for cutting pattern paper, drafting paper, or even interfacing. Now here I have two types of thread snips. These are good to keep near your machine. So as you're doing a project, you can snip as you go. And it's really important that you do snip as you go. By the end of the project, you don't want to have a jungle of threads, so it's good to have one near your machine. I believe I got this one somewhere at a dollar store. Now here I have my pinking shears. Now, as you can see, all these teeth on here, these are good for putting finishes on something. As you can see, when you cut it up, it doesn't fray as much. It's really good for comparing, taking swatches to the store to compare. And it's also good for decorating portfolios. So this is an option, but you can always do a finish on your sewing machine using a zigzag stitch. Okay, as you can see, I have laid out all my measuring tools that I use. Now this on the end here is my rotary cutter mat. You're going to definitely need a mat if you're going to use your rotary cutter. And these come a lot bigger, but these are definitely good for not cutting through your table, leaving ugly marks. You got it all measured up where you can definitely line things up and cut it out. Next, I have my transparent rulers. As you can see, this one here is an acrylic. It's pretty sturdy and thick. On this side, you got the black where you can see, and on this side, you have the white numbers. And right here, I have my 18-inch. It's a little more flexy. Plastic 18-inch ruler, so it's really good to have at least. This one is the main one that I use, and this one's really good, and I use with my rotary cutter as well. It's a little thicker and easier to line up things. Next, I'm going to move on to my measuring tapes. As you can see, I have two of them. This one here is 60 inches long, and this one is 120 inches long, which you will probably need if you're measuring bedding or curtains. You're going to need a longer measuring tape. You got centimeters on one side and inches, as you can see, on the front side. This one, I believe, is on the cheap end. It came from a dollar store. Okay, so right here we have our seam gauge. Now this comes in handy when you're at your sewing machine or iron and you need to see how far over you need to sew something or how far up you need to hem something. This moves over to the amount of inches that you need. So you're definitely going to need one of these. And these can also be found in like a kit at a dollar store. So you'll see them pretty much everywhere. Okay, so here I have my pins, needles, and pin cushion. I have my magnetic pin holder. And as you can see, they go right to the magnet. Then I have a little storage on the bottom where I have my chalk and another seam ripper. Then over here, I have my little old-fashioned tomato on top of a tomato, but pin cushion where I have, it's a little messy, my different pins in it. This is a really good one just to have. Then over here, I have safety pins, which is really good for holding things up when you're hemming, especially if you're doing a hem in a pair of pants. It's good to, if someone's trying them on, you can put that in where they can get in and out without a stick pin. And these are also good for running elastic or running a piece of cord through a case or a waistband. Then here we have universal sewing machine needles. So you're going to have or want to get a pack of that, but these also come with a brand new machine. If you get a brand new machine, you'll get a pack of needles normally in it, and they have assortment from sewing delicate fabrics to heavy fabrics. Then you also want to get yourself some needles, various different sizes, and you got some short ones, long ones, and these here have a larger eye, but some of them are shorter and longer, and it comes on this little magnet I have here. So you have those, and then I believe that's it for your pins, needles, and pin cushions. Okay, so here I have my markers. Right here I got a white chalk. These come in blue as well, but I usually don't use the blue. I just don't prefer it. But I have on my white chalk, which pretty much shows on everything besides my lighter colors. But these dust off with no problem. So it's really good to have. Use some white chalk. But if you need something to show up on just about anything, I would recommend buying one of these. This is great. This has like a little wheel. They come with refills, and it has chalk inside, and basically line it up with your ruler, and there you go, just like that, in a straight line. But it shows up in everything, and it's really great to have. So that's another one that I use. And also the ink be gone and disappearing ink here. These are really good to use. I don't use it as much as I used to, but I definitely have in the past. As you can see, it's worn out on the purple side. Use the disappearing side, and the disappearing side disappears basically over time, and the mark be gone, you definitely have to take a damp cloth to it or wash it. But these are really good to have as well. Okay, over here I have my tracing wheel, which assists in transferring all my marks from my tracing paper, which is pretty raggedy here, to my fabric. So if you're doing a button up and you need some darts, you're going to use your tracing paper and your tracing wheel, and of course a ruler, and you're going to place or mark those on. Okay, so here I have some of my threads, and as a beginner, I feel that you will need maybe to start with an all-purpose thread and some neutrals, some blacks and whites, some tans. You're pretty much going to use blacks and whites for a lot of different things until you start getting really detailed with colors and your colors start to grow. Here I have some heavyweight dual duty threads as well for different things. And then I have my bobbin case over here. You're going to definitely need some extra bobbins. As you can see, I got a few at the bottom here. Make sure you check your machine to see what type of bobbins you need, because they may vary, especially different brands have different bobbin types. So you're definitely going to want to wind, some blacks and some whites. You don't want to wind too many different colors that you're not going to use, or you might find yourself either running to the store for more bobbins or unwinding a few of them. So definitely have a lot of them. Your machine does come, a new machine does come with at least, I believe, like 3 or 4 bobbins. Now, if you can remember the question at the beginning, these are what I was talking about. My seam rippers. I don't hate them. I just hate to use them because they usually come from making a mistake, such as I've sewn the wrong panels together, I've lined things up incorrectly, or the sleeve got caught while I was sewing the neck seam, and it's a bunch of reasons you're going to need these. So trust me, you're going to get a couple of them. Your new machine will come with the little one, and it's really good for getting under anything that is a little finer, fine threads. So there you have it with your seam rippers. Really good to have on hand. Okay, so over here is one of the items that I said is my new find. I absolutely love this tool. It's optional. It's not something you have to have, but it's definitely something I added to my seam ripper collection. It's called a curved blade seam ripper, and it does the job a lot faster. Your seam ripper basically picks at your threads, but this thing here, it basically kind of takes it out a lot faster if you're really careful, because if you're not, you gotta keep from cutting your fabric. You want to go straight down through the middle of the threads as they're open, and it just basically pops them open even more and faster. So there you go with that. So once again, it's not something you have to have, but it's a really good tool for moving through something really a lot faster. Okay, so I have the last of my basic tools that I use here. Now, this one on the end here is what I use as a point turner. It's actually a chopstick. You can actually buy a stick like this at the fabric store. And basically it's used, or you can use a knitting needle, by the way, but you just need something that's semi-sharp that won't actually poke a hole through your fabric to turn corners. Basically, if you have a pillow, you need to work out the bulk of the edge of the four corners. You have that to kind of push at it a little bit. And then also if you have like a case that needs to be turned from the outside in, or well, from the inside out, basically you're going to put it at the base here and just work this over until the inside comes out. So that's that. And then over here we have our two new finds. One is a drawstring threader and the other one is elastic threader. And this one here is really good when you have your drawstring and you need to work it through a case. I love the fact that it's a lot longer and it doesn't take so long, whereas when you're using a safety pin, which is also used for both of these, but it's a lot better to use this because it's longer and it'll go around a lot faster. So I thought that was pretty nifty when I picked it up. But that'll be used for your drawstring here. And then we have on the end with these three sizes, and they do come bigger, I believe, your elastic threader. Now, I love these too. I thought these were great because, once again, you can use your safety pin to run this through a case for a waistband. But the thing with the safety pins is that they will not hold the elastic correctly. So when you're working it through, sometimes they will twist up. So this pretty much goes like this, and as you're working it in your case all the way around, it's going to stay flat if you just be careful going around. And basically as you're threading it around your waistband, it'll stay flat and it won't go crooked and twist all up like a lot of times your safety pins will do. So that's pretty good option for that. So once again, these are optional because you could always use your safety pins for drawstrings, working those through, or for your elastic. But I thought it was a really good tool to invest, so just so you can keep your elastic straight as you turn, and your drawstrings will go through a lot faster using this. This is pretty much it on the new finds. Okay, so then you would want to find a toolbox or a cute craft box to put all your tools in. Once again, like, subscribe for more helpful or creative sewing videos, or leave a comment telling me what you plan to create. Thanks for stopping by. Hope this list was enough to get you started towards your sewing goals.